Hi guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today I have a treat for you. I don't have a lot of knives from this company. This is HX Outdoors. This is a slip joint knife with D2 steel that HX Outdoors has copied, basically copied. It is very, very similar to, well, I'll put the other knife in the next part of the video. But it's a knife that they've done a good job with making it, and it's got a very cool feature for stabilizing the blade, and I think you're going to like this video. So stick around and watch close. This is the HX Outdoors D-153 with D2 steel, and from GearBest it's $25 with free shipping. And so let's change the camera down to the tabletop perspective and we'll take a good close look at the very cool feature that this knife has. So here's the knife. It's a knife that is, fits in a large size hand almost perfectly. Take a look at that. The handle's very nice size, nice and chunky, good grip on it. Big blade. We've got like 1.5 inches cutting surface, along this long belly and a short flat area there. Hollow grind, black stone wash. That hollow grind comes up 3/4 of an inch from the edge to the end of the hollow grind. The edge retention on D2 is very good. It's a tool steel that's been around for well over a generation of knife users, and it's a blade that I am recommending that either you go out and spend the big bucks to buy the original, or get this very close look-alike and function-alike knife for yourself. We've got a nice super deep carry pocket clip. When everything's black, it's hard to see. You can see that you got a little bit of this handle sticking out here, and that's actually it's not a prying wedge, it's just not long enough, but that's a piece of steel for striking, for whatever you want to strike with it. It'll, put a good sized dent in a piece of wood, or, whatever you want to use that end for. G10 handle scales. Look at the thickness on that G10. Nested steel liner on that side, nested steel liner on this side, but for some reason they're not equal. The G10 on this side here is quite a bit thicker than on the other. Your blade itself isn't that super heavy. It's 1/10 of an inch. And so that's less than 1/8 of an inch. We've got 2 3/4 millimeters roughly of D2 steel. We've got just that little bit of jimping on the end of that, the end of the choil for the knife, and the beginning of the choil here. The G10's got some nice and mild jimping, some more jimping on the tail end here, and some jimping along the thumb ramp and the beginning of the end of the handle here as well. I mentioned that clip. It is reversible. You can put it on the other side. So you've got tip up carry on either side, left or right. That's a good thing. You've got these very big pivot screws that, they're flush screws. I like flush a lot. And it's Torx, so you can make your own adjustments. Everything else that's got a screw is Torx as well. You can take this knife apart easily yourself and put it back together. The blade centering on this knife is very good. The light's just not perfect for me to show you, especially since everything's black. They cut out these sections for your hand so that when the blade is deployed, your fingers just naturally fall right in line with those. At least mine do when I'm back, and when I'm sneaking up, then the other two fingers fit in there really well. So you've got those two major holds on it. But you say, but that friction lock there, that slip joint just slides out all the time. That's no good. I don't like slip joints. Well, they've given you a tool. It's got the Torx head on that end, so you can use it to make an adjustment on your knife if you need to, but it's much better than that. You saw where I pulled it out over here. There's a magnet there. So I was talking about the magnets here. So see that screw? If I could live without phones, I would. Although that call is going to mean some income for me. I did a computer repair job. My last job before I accepted my disability as being as bad as it was as a computer tech guy for a school division. So a lot of teachers really liked me, and so I do computer repairs for a lot of them still. Anyway, there's a magnet in there. You can see that screw just hanging on. That's where the tool gets stored. It gets stored right in this position right here. The tool goes into that hole with the Torx bit sticking out. Get your nail behind there and pull it out. And now you can take this tool and not just use it to adjust something. You can put it in this hole right there. There, you can see the light through that. You can put it through that hole. Let's turn this some way so you can see better. And slide it in there. And now there's a little bit of play, obviously. There just has to be. So a tiny bit of up and down play. And side-to-side play is non-existent because the slip joint takes care of that. And now you've essentially got a fixed blade. And because they put a magnet on this side, this pin is not going to fall out easily at all. You can't even get it out with your fingers anymore. You pull on here with your fingernail, and I broke a fingernail or two trying to get that out. The only way to get that back out of there is, not the only way, one way that works really well is you take a pen and you push in, and then it sticks back just a little bit, and then you can lift it out. And now your knife can be closed again. They've got a really good half-closed detent so that when you're using it without this pin and it slips, it's going to stop there. That stop actually feels sturdier than the one at the end. I wish this detent here would be even stronger. That's the strongest detent position right there. And then the next one is in the closed position. And in the closed position, it's quite strong. It's not going to open up in your pocket. I'm grabbing and pulling pretty hard on here and it's not opening. You have to get a firm grip on it to open it. It's not going to accidentally open in your pocket, which is a really good thing. So we'll do some cut tests. Here's some that banding. Slides through that. No problem at all. Very good edge on this D2. I've got no doubt at all because I took a file to it just a little bit on the end just to feel it and feel how well my file cuts on it. I didn't sharpen anything up here at all, just a tiny bit on the end. And it works. It's D2, I'm convinced. If not D2, something else that's similarly hard. I've done a really good job with that edge. This is a nice tool to have. If you're going to be cutting super regularly, like if you've got a job breaking down boxes in some factory or whatever, you're a shipper receiver or whatever, and you're opening an awful lot of stuff, no, this isn't the greatest knife for you because you don't want to be always unlocking, getting a pen out and both of your hands are busy, and you put it down and you close the blade up and then you put this away and then you put it in your pocket. Now that's way too long. Nobody's going to do that. If you don't mind a slip joint to open and close frequently, when you're doing the sneak up kind of hold on the choil, it's really super safe. If that's how you're going to use it, sure, this would be a great box cutter kind of knife. With that locking mechanism, I really have no problem depending on this knife. This is clearly not a weapon. In Canada, we're not allowed to carry knives for self-defense. For that purpose, we're not allowed to have knives on our person in public anywhere. But this knife, any officer is going to see this as a tool. They're not going to see this that you're carrying a weapon unless you are, brandishing it and waving it at people. Because we know from, very sadly, 9/11 that you don't need much of an edge to do some major damage. But basically, most people are going to see this as a tool. And as a tool, it weighs quite a bit. Look at that, 103 grams, which is 3.6 ounces. For this size, it's a little bit heavy, isn't it? I think they could have gone with making this G10 just a little bit thinner. If they would have made this right side the same thickness as the left, I think they would have saved maybe 0.2, 0.3 of an ounce. Every little bit helps. But, 3.6 ounces isn't a super amount either, so it's not a real huge amount of weight. So what do you think of this knife? Would you buy one of these? Would you spend $25 and get the HX Outdoors version of this knife for $25.18 right now? GearBest says there's 2 pieces left. They might be all gone by the time you watch this video. And I hope you'd be able to have one of these knives in the UK. It is less than 3 inches and it is a slip joint. I don't know what they'd say about that mechanism that turns it sort of into a fixed blade. Who knows? Bandit, settle down. I'm expecting company. They'll be here very soon. So remember, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Please like, please share, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.